So today is a special opportunity to know more about shamanism, to know more about life purpose and how to align these with business and business goals and how to be able to get, let's say, results out of these methods. Fernando, could you please introduce yourself and what you do for business?
Yes, thank you very much. Hi to everyone. My name is Fernando Marengo Rodriguez, doctor in engineering, electronic engineer, researcher, scientific researcher, professor at the university, an entrepreneur in the technological field, and international coach. I work as an international coach using shamanic tools and NLP for helping many people find and monetize their life purpose, because nowadays people are starving from wisdom. They're flooded in information, but they are starving from wisdom, and they are starving from happiness inside their hearts, because nowadays in this current situation many people are isolated, are becoming sad, are becoming depressed, are becoming anxious. And my mission here is to help everyone who really wants to have a different look at their own life, uh, discovering what they really love doing, how they really love serving others, and how to transform that passion into a monetization, into a source of income, and that's where they find their life purpose.
Let's start with the basics. How would you define shamanism?
Well, I was studying shamanism with my teacher, Suryavan Solar. It started 6 years ago here in Brazil, where I live since 2012. And he teaches many tools to reconnect ourselves to nature, because we human beings are not apart from nature. We are a part of nature. And since we recognize that, and since we observe nature, we can observe to ourselves. In fact, one person who was very famous did that, and as a consequence of that, he invented many things. That guy was named Leonardo da Vinci. And you know what? This is a result of observing nature, to create great things and to discover great things in ourselves. And how do we find peace in ourselves? Through connection to nature. According to studies, for instance, the bath of forests, which is done in Japan quite frequently for many workers, it is done in order to lower the stress level of people. And it is recommended for everyone to do that. So in shamanism, I made my journey, and I teach other people how to start their own journey by connecting themselves through the four elements: soil, water, air, and fire. We are just made of solid and liquid states. That's why earth and soil and water elements are very present in our body. But we have also present air, which is the air that we breathe, and it also stimulates our brain, the movement of our thoughts. That's why, for instance, having a bath of wind allow us to have clear new ideas. It's a very simple and a very powerful tool that I use for myself and I recommend to my clients. And we have also our inner fire. Of course, we have not a physically speaking fire, but according to this philosophy I've been learning, now I am teach as well, fire is contained in the temperature of our blood, in the temperature of our body, and how we can awake our inner fire in order to what the monks used to do is to awake their inner fire. So they have to spend many weeks and many months and sometimes many years inside a cold cave in the mountains, and they have to regulate their inner temperature. They have to awaken their inner fire, And that's why after spending many months in the caves, they can go out of the cave and carry out extraordinary missions. So in shamanism, we learn how to awake our inner fire and start as an entrepreneur, and also start as an entrepreneur connected with our divine self. That's the most important thing we can do.
So the question is, how can you turn, or how can people turn their life purpose into monetization, into, let's say, a profitable business?
Yes, it is actually a simple process. It could not be very easy, but it is simple. Okay. So, for instance, when we discover what we love doing, what we really love doing when we were a child, for instance, when I was a child, I loved playing with Legos, some kind of Legos. And when I did my first, I took my first coaching package, I started remembering that. And then I said to myself, how can I do this now in this current moment as an engineer? How can I play with other kinds of Legos now as an engineer? Then I started finding inside myself what I really loved doing when I was a child, and I carried that information to this current situation, in which now I started different as an entrepreneur in different development of different devices, physical devices. Now I am assembling different pieces. Of course, they are not Legos, but there are other different pieces for human well-being. So that's how I found, I reconnected my passion to those moments in which I was a child. So people have to connect with themselves when they were a child, what they really love doing. They have to know as well which their talents are, what they really are very good at, and ask for people who know themselves what their talents are, what their gifts are, and what their competencies are as well. Because competencies have to do with what we learn to do in this life. But talents and gifts are related with what we learned in past lives. And now we know how to do that without any effort and very well above the average people.
Let's say COVID-19, like, threw the world in a case of chaos. Can people find, let's say, life purpose and the happiness in these unexpected circumstances?
Yes, they can and they have to find their purpose. Because nowadays in this current situation, the economic circumstances now are much more difficult to predetermine, to predict. So since the circumstances are so unpredictable, we have to build our own basis. And how can we build our own basis? We have to be an entrepreneur. So it happens here in Latin America. It happens in many other countries around the world. Many people who are listening to this, just look around you, and you will know at least one or two persons that have been, for instance, have started working from home, or they have to start working as an entrepreneur. So there are many kinds of entrepreneurs. Many people say, "Oh, I want to work this because this gives money." Yes, they can, but will that make their eyes shine brighter? Will that make their hearts thump in a more intense way? Well, the answer, I don't have to give the answer. The answer is each person knows the answer. But if you really want to do, let's suppose you have to build your own life and you have to offer service to the others. And let's suppose you have to make a decision. Whatever the decision is, you have 100% guarantee it will be fine with you and everything will be okay. Which will that decision be for you? So many people will say, "Oh, I love to do this, I love to do that, I love to do that." But they stop when they say, "How can I do that?" And since they don't know the answer, and they don't look for the answer. They just go to the easy way and say, oh, I'm going to work in this because this gives money. And they don't figure out how they can make money using their talents, using their gifts, and serving other people, doing what they really love and what they really are very good at. Imagine Messi. We already been speaking about Messi. Who would be Messi if he just said to himself, "Oh, I'm going to stay. I'm 13 years old. I'm going to stay here in Rosario, in Argentina, and I'm going to be working in an office because my father works in an office, or my uncle works in an office." Do you know how the world would be without Messi? So we are always messy at certain things. We have to discover in which things we are messy, right? So it's our job to find out what we are very good at, and then determine what we really want and how we can do that in a step-by-step action plan. So that's what I do in my work as a shamanic coach, and I use the shamanism in order to go deeper, very deep, in what the people really want to do, and not what their brain or the society just tell them. Because the truth is not here. The truth is here. The truth is in our hearts. These thoughts change very fast, very rapidly. But what makes your eyes shine brighter, what makes your heart pump stronger, is just one thing. You have to discover just this one thing, and this one thing is always related with how we can serve others and how we can make other people happy, because that's the source of happiness. How we can make other people happy, because in those moments it's when we feel really fulfilled, grateful, and happy.
So my question here is about the shamanism practice. Like, what principles do you depend on to explore the real purpose of your clients, if I may say so?
Well, I use the tools according to, most of all, to my intuition, right? I first followed a method, a given methodology. Then I started giving place to my own intuition, and my intuition is always guiding me, because in shamanism you can learn how to detect and use your inner resources. I'm not speaking about we as human beings. We are speaking about we as spiritual beings. We are now in this world as human beings, but we have the ability, every one of us has the ability to connect with our past lives, and then to extract the most meaningful part in those past lives, which our talents were in those past lives, and how we can reactivate in this current life. That is how I'm using shamanism now, because I connected to my past lives, to the power of my past lives, and to the gift I received, I inherited from my past lives. I help other people how to connect with their passion and the gift they received from their past lives, and how they can reactivate now in order to help other people. For instance, I can heal other people just with my thoughts or just with my hands, and with many meditations. And when I was 5 years ago, for instance, I didn't think it was possible. But then I started to believe in myself. I said to myself, well, let's try, why not? And then, of course, I discovered my father and the father of my father were also healers. So I had also a genetic trend in that term. So I took a decision to myself and say, okay, I will learn some tools for healing other people. Then we apply that. And after applying that, I started awakening my own inner power. And first, applying those basic techniques I've been learning, then I started developing my own healing techniques. And that's how I help other people, how they can connect with their inner sources, and how they can little by little connect with, start helping other people, and then in a process, how to awaken even more their talents in order to strengthen their services and give value to even more people.
So my question is more like, you came to a moment where you started to believe in yourself and believe in your abilities, and then you managed to move forward. what kind of, let's say, self-commitment, what kind of courage, what kind of mindset would you require from the people who seek your help? Like some people would seem like suspicious, would not believe what you want them to do right away, would not put in the effort that you would like them to do. So what kind of people would you like to work with?
Well, you just stated that. I just like working with people who really want a change in their life. Simple as that. And that requires commitment. That requires, for instance, they say to themselves, "Oh, I have a business that is doing like this, but I want to start another business, and I don't feel it's not profitable yet. How can I do that?" Then I start making other questions to the people and say, why is this important for you, and how will you feel after you conquer this, and uh, how will you feel if you try and don't conquer that? But those are key questions in order to ask those people. If they give the answers appropriately, for instance, they will feel very happy, they will feel extremely happy. They will, if they don't conquer that, they will feel very frustrated. And it is important for them because it's been in their mind for many years, and now they are ready to take a step and take a decision and move forward. If they answer things like that, I say to myself, okay, let's move on.
Let me ask you about the, let's say, the nature of our era, that the nature of our time. Let's say technology has taken over everything. What is the role of technology in this time of uncertainty from your point of view?
Well, we all understand technology as an external set of devices, such as this one when we are in which we are speaking through. But we forget about this inner technology we have. So Sadhguru explains about our inner engineering, right? So meditation allow us to, for instance, meditation is one of those tools, okay, for our inner technology. Allow us to connect with other people, allow us to heal other people. I don't know any technology that has healed, for instance, as powerful as some of the healings I perform or people I know that perform. There's no existing technology that performs that. And it's a pity that we as human beings are not acting as human beings. We are acting like animals. Even worse, animals do not contaminate. We are contaminated. We are destroying this planet. Why? Because we haven't awakened yet our human, our divine part. First, we are not using sufficiently our rational part, which is related with our left hemisphere. Secondly, we don't use our intuitive and creative mind. That is the most important part, according to Einstein. Okay, I'm not speaking about a mystical teacher. I'm speaking about Einstein. He said that our most important part is our right hemisphere, which is related with our creativity and intuition. So that's even most important. And just a few people are using that part. And when they use that part, when you are creating, when you are performing arts, you are connected with infinity, with all the possibilities you want. And the most important thing is that you can connect with the possibility you want in your life. And this is very crucial. This is part of an exercise I perform in my clients. When they break the barriers of the rational mind, they don't ask how anymore. They just discover what their heart really wants and how they want, and which are the details they see from that future they crave for. And after discovering that result and vividly feel the result in their heart and their flesh and their blood, they say to themselves, I really want this. I want to continue. I want to conquer this. How can we move forward? And that is the most important thing. So answering your question, this is the inner technology. The outer technology is that it is a wonderful tool, but without awakening our inner technology, we are just in a risk of being used by the inner technology, by the outside technology. For instance, I've seen in the last week an article written by an artificial intelligence software. So I read the article and it was written by an artificial intelligence software. Say, wow, is this true? This wasn't written by a person. It is written by a machine. Imagine what will happen in a couple of years. At the end of this year, Elon Musk announced yesterday that before the end of this year, they will have implants, chip already implants. Yes, I think yes, they will make an implant in human beings, in the brains of human beings, in order to connect, allow people to connect with the internet, they will allow people to make telepathy. I said to myself, well, yes, that's wonderful, but why do we have to insert external technology if we have our inner technology that we are not using? Isn't it more wise? Isn't it wiser to learn how to use our inner technology instead of inserting external devices? So the great danger now in humankind is to be just dependent on external technology and other beings and what other people, what the media say, instead of awakening our inner technology.
Okay, now would you like to take us on a journey on your application that you designed for shamanism and for, let's say, business purposes?
Yes, we are developing a device for biofeedback. So biofeedback is not extremely new technique, but anyway, it is new for many people. It is a methodology for using an external device that shows biomedical measurements in real time and allows the user to see the results in real time and take decisions in if the measurements, if they want to increase or decrease the measurement, right? For instance, people are measuring their state of calmness in real time. And if I say to the clients, okay, just focus on being calm in order to increase the reading of your calmness, okay? And people will start to see the result of calmness or for instance, and they will just focus on increasing that measurement. So that is the effect device we are developing now. It is under production. The first set of devices response. Since the heart rate variability, our heart rate is not constant, okay? It is variable. And according to studies, it varies just a little bit when you are stressed, or it varies very much when you are calm, okay? So that is the heart rate variability. For instance, if I say to you, inhale, the heart rate will increase, and I say exhale, the heart rate will decrease. According to the rhythm, I say to the client, inhale and exhale, they will find a certain frequency in which the heart rate variability reaches its maximum. And that is related with their higher state of awareness, of calmness, most of all. So that through that device, we will teach people how to breathe in order to feel calm during all the day. So many people, when they are anxious, we all know that when we are anxious, we just breathe very fast like this. And so when that happens, our heart rate is almost constant, and our heart rate variability is very slow, very small, very small. But when we doctors say to us, relax, just take a deep breath, and the heart rate variability returns to a high value, which is healthy, which is very, very good from our well-being point of view. So we are developing a device, a physical device, that through clip, an AR clip attached here to this part of the ear, will detect the pulse, the PPG, the pulse waveform in our blood, and it will detect the heart rate variability, and the state of calmness. And we will teach, we will show other people how they are feeling and how they want to feel, and train those people how to feel calm, more calm in different situations. Of course, it is easier to feel calm in very calm situations, but the current challenge here is how to feel calm in a chaotic situation. The world is becoming chaotic, so we have to learn very well how to feel better with ourselves. So this kind of devices is crucial for this current scenario.
It has been more than awesome and more than amazing talking to you, Fernando. Thank you so much for that indeed. And let's say Argentina and Brazil do very well in the next Cup, World Cup of football. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Nour. And anyway, anyone who wants to reach us, just you can write to my email, fmarengorodriguez@gmail.com. And I will also publish some other details in the comments of the video below. Thank you very much.